Woo. All right, yo, yes. Blessings. What's up, everyone? This is Paul. I am here. This is Men Talk About. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. Listen, if you listen to this podcast before, you know these sessions excite me. Um, I think I know what's gonna happen, and I have no freaking idea. So look, man, I got one of my guys here. One of my guys, Lamar Wright, man. Like, man, this is one of my aces, one of my dudes in my king's court, man. One of the members of the Men Mentoring Men, the men's group that I'm a part of, been a part of for the past 3 years. This man right here, getting to know him, it's like every time I connect with this dude, it's like I got another treasure, I got another gem, man. So I'm in such gratitude that we're gonna share this space because, listen, Lamar, for those that have yet to meet and know of this man, he's the founder of Mars Basketball. He is Mars Basketball is a brand, and I call it a mood, I call it a vibe. But he does basketball development skills, and also he has a apparel line that is, in my perspective, more than apparel. We're going to dive into that in a moment. He's a basketball player extraordinaire. He's played in college. He's played overseas. And what I love about what he does is I see my experience of you, Lamar, is like when I see your videos that you share with the group, and I see how you look at how people are doing skills, I know you're in it, man. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on this podcast, because to give a little context, in Lamar's line, marsbball.com, marsbball.com. He's got different lines, and one of his latest lines that's out right now is "Life without basketball sucks." And the name of this podcast, "Life Without Passion Sucks," because I think everything my man does is with passion. So Lamar, bless up to you, King. Welcome, baby. Welcome.
Peace. Thank you. Peace, King. This is a blessing and an honor as well. So just being able to be a part of your platform, your audience, your village of people, and being able to connect. So I'm very thankful for this opportunity, bro.
Blessings, man. And Lamar, man, is there anything else, like, before we dive in, man? Because there's some questions I really want to have us dive into. And before we do that, is there anything else that you want the people to know about you that I forgot, that I didn't include in the intro that I did?
Oh, we got the podcast, the Hoop Chat. Check that out. And for the most part, no, not at all. Only just the podcast.
Bless up. So let's go. I figure we'll do like a little a chronological type of thing, because I know, like, when we first connected, we connected through Chris Flo, who's been a guest on the podcast and will be a guest on the podcast again. And as we've gotten to know each other, I've always appreciated you. You are your own vibe, man. Like, and I've appreciated that about you. Like, and I think I really appreciate it more because, like, me growing up, I've been a people pleaser and a shapeshifter. So it's like wherever I am, it's like, okay, I'm adjusting. And from the first time I met you, it's like, listen, man, I'm who I am. This is how I'm coming. Yo, let's hang. Yo, listen. And I've always appreciated that, because it's about accepting who and where and what I am and what you are, which is beautiful. And I'm curious, man, when you, as an entrepreneur, um, how have you carried that vibe into building out and really crafting and building what you do and how you show up in the world?
Well, I think, and that's a full body question, but I think when you're an entrepreneur, you have already had these ideas. You just didn't realize the power that you had to manifest it. Once you learn that, you are able to pursue it a little bit differently, right? But some of us, before we're into entrepreneurship, we have to go through things where we're in situations that we experience things and we're like, nah, that's not really how I do it. Right. And then it's like, well, why are we doing it this way? right? And it's
Right.
not that you're questioning it from a work perspective. You're just questioning it from a, does this actually make logical sense?
Right.
You start understanding that a little bit earlier. So in entrepreneurship, you know that you could eliminate that and just focus on what's true to you, right? Like I don't have to adhere to policy, procedure, mandate. I create all of those things. That's what I have to, what I'm in control of. Entrepreneurship is like marrying your creativity and monetization. How you decide to do that, it's a million different ways, you know?
Well,
So the starving artist, go ahead.
right. Well, it's interesting, man, because like, and that's what I think is that I want to tap into to get things kicked off. Because looking at my demographics, I'm working with the young men that are 25 to 30, and then also the men that are 45 to 52, right? And in those spaces, there is I've experienced that those men have two lanes that they can go. They can go like, hey, I'm gonna do this lane, which is basically like, hey, everyone else has done this, right? I'm gonna just go on this path, or they can go on this path where it's like, you know what, this is unique to me. I'm staying on this. Now, I think that there are men that while on that steady path, they're like, I want to be over here, and they're making that
For
transition,
sure.
especially with everything that's going on, right?
Right.
So, like, what? How would you
Mhm.
describe like how you've embodied that, and how, and like, what are some of the characteristics? I guess more along the lines of that that you have that other men
You
could
gotta
start
be,
to tap into. Yeah.
you gotta have creativity. You gotta have depth. You gotta have willpower. You gotta have a high level of resiliency. You have
Yes.
to have an understanding of the uniqueness of your path and your journey as it relates to other people's paths and journeys, right? Like I can gain perspective from somebody who's made $1 million, but I'm not going to do it the way that they did it
Right.
because my story is not going to be the same as that person, right? So it's just kind of like just developing that level of I'm not moved by the downs or the losses. I'm not moved by the losses of the failure. I
Mhm.
know that that's shaping me so that I can succeed. So I'm able to tolerate that experience. Like if I got to make certain adjustments, I don't really care what society thinks as long as what I'm passionate about and I'm building towards and I'm making progress is what I want to do. And you got to be willing to be okay with being uncool for a while. Like, yo, what I'm talking about, I know it's not resonating with people. They not thinking
Right.
about it. Whatever it may be, like they would be surprised that it's me who's talking like this. But that's where it's like you have to confront. Are you going to conceal who you really are? Or are you going to allow that to come to the surface? And are you secure enough for that to come to the surface? You know?
Ooh, you said a lot right there, man. So I want to break some of these things down because what I heard you say was the creativity, the depth, the willpower, the resiliency. The the thing that really resonated with what you said though is uniqueness of the path of their path and journey, right? So thinking of that, man, especially because like like you, because of your passion, the past experience, when you talk about your line and when you talk about what you do and how you're teaching others, like what would you say has been your uniqueness so far on your journey?
That I understand that I could be dope in everything that I do.
Hmm.
Like there's
Okay.
nobody who's pushing me to something that I'm like, oh wow. Like I just see everybody doing everything else that's been done. You know? Like
Right.
there's not too many people who are in my realm that think outside of my realm. Right. So like
Hmm.
either you coaching basketball, you playing basketball, you might have a little clothing, you know, you might have like you might have something that goes with what you do, you know.
Right.
Um, but you're not really thinking about how you can curate culture. You know, like what is the way in which you see things that you practice, your philosophies? If you're a trainer, how you illustrate in those philosophies, and what ways are you doing that? What are you being able to provide in terms of a footprint to people looking at, like, oh, I like what you doing. You know, I like what you're illustrating, how you're articulating things, you know? And there are people that are doing it, but they're not people that they still in just one lane, you know?
Yeah. Right. So go ahead. I'm sorry. You finish that.
So like, in short, what I'm saying is, like, I've always understood that, like, basketball and my travels throughout the game of basketball, right, prepared me for those experiences in the United States and even abroad, to accept people, different cultures, religions, right? Team bonding, all of these different things. And as you go up the levels, you see the hard work, you see the dedication, you see, you know, how somebody had to persevere. So they had to have some patience for what it is that they, you know, was able to succeed, you know, and then there's always that ultimate level of sacrifice, right? So it's like, you see those things of consciousness that resonate. So it's like, oh, wow, I use this game, but that also plays out in society.
So give me an example, because like, so I want to pause for a second, because so for the people that, again, like, get, because I want to, because what you're saying, because I know you, right? I've gotten to know you over the past several years, and I know that some people that listen to this be like, yo, I'm digging what he's saying, but like, hold up, wait, what's the experiences he's talking about? So can you give a quick rundown on two things? First, can you give a quick rundown on your basketball career, right, up until this point, the playing and the teaching, and then can you give a quick breakdown of Mars b-ball and apparel?
All right, cool. So I'm from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Went to Absegami High School, left Absegami High School, went to Long Island University, transferred from Long Island University to King University, played at King University. Then I went overseas and played in Portugal, Spain, China, and then I got into coaching, got into working with players on the AAU circuit. At that time, I had already known, you know, and that's part of, you know, when you talk about these things, like, basketball yielded me everything, and I knew when I was 7 years old that that's what I was gonna do. Now, obviously, everybody says, right, like, oh, you know, 7 years old, you want to be a basketball player and everything. I did turn into that, right? But what I discovered was I was creating a career path for myself that I knew because of the experience of that, right? So when I was in high school and in college, I was doing camps as a counselor, and like working with kids and like teaching kids basketball and work. So I had already understood that there was a passion about teaching the game of basketball that I had already, you know, it was like a marriage. Like, okay, I love to play it, but I like to teach it too. I like to see young children hit somebody off with this crossover move that I just learned. You feel me? And like, I'm 15, you know, I'm helping this young kid out. Like, yo, he gonna be tough, you know? And that's just what it was initially, right? I didn't know this. Obviously, this is me reflecting on this, but this set in more in college when I looked at how much I developed, like what an actual design program for development was like. And
wait,
then
so when you say development, like development as a player, or more like, are you talking development more as like a coach teacher?
Both. This was simultaneously happening for me, right? Because I at this point, I've already crossed over the threshold of enthusiast. I'm a junkie now. I'm a fiend for basketball. I'm in college. I'm like, this is me actually understanding basketball now. Like, I know why these guys are so great now. I'm aspiring to be. I see what I got in my bag, what I need to get better at, and I'm learning that, and I'm sharpening that, and understanding what it takes to get to that next level. Right. So it's like, I'm respecting my senseis, the people who are teaching me this craft. I'm Danielson riding through this journey, right? This whole time, various Miyagi's. Some Miyagi's was ill-equipped. Other Miyagi's was like, whoa. Then it's like, boom, you meet Yodas. And then you meet that level and it's like, wow, like, oh, success starts to come a little bit easier because now you're intaking so much more, right? So now your processing speed is so much more sharper. So you seeing things and you're acting before they happen. Now everybody like, oh, you're nice. It's like, dang, you ain't see how much time I was in the gym doing all that,
Right.
right?
Yo.
So the connection
Oh man.
became real quick. It was real quick. It was like, yo, freshman year of college, by the time I finished that year, I started making the connection like hard work, get better, you nice, people think you nice, game gets easy. I'ma just keep doing this. Like I'ma just keep submerging myself in this, right? So, obviously getting to transferring to my next school, not that there was a reality of not going to the NBA. There was a thought of like, what else I want to do. Like, I don't want to do this college stuff. I know that. I know that because I'm not trying to sit and learn in no company how to do X, Y, and Z. Like, I'll much rather be somebody coach. You know what I mean? Like around basketball. That's because I know that. You
That
know
was
what
a
I mean?
pull for you. Like, it sounds like the coaching really resonated with you when you did it.
So I already understood myself. Like it was like
you.
whether I went to the NBA and had a great Hall of Fame career or not, I still wanted to work with players and coach and be around the game of basketball in some capacity. I didn't know what that was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
it's so interesting to pause for a second because I love what you're saying. Because like working with men over the past like 5-6 years in these different men's circles, like I've heard a lot of, well, I think it's supposed to be this way, right? Or like, I'm gonna follow a model, very similar to what we were talking about before. And what I'm hearing you say is that like so basically like men, there'll be a destination. People will have a destination, like, yo, I gotta get to the NBA. What I'm hearing you say is what the real focus is to be in the game, to
yeah,
be in and around the game. Like, so it wasn't, so it's interesting because as you're saying that, you really stayed open to everything that the game could give you, especially if you were given to
everything,
it.
everything,
That's freaking lively. That's fresh.
everything.
That's fresh.
So when it comes to passing journeys, my
Right.
best friend was the one who showed me passing journeys are different. We could still arrive at the same point, but we
Right.
can go about this completely differently, right?
Right.
So that
Right.
was in the transition of transferring schools. Like transferring schools, it's like, man, I'm going to this Division III school now. Like, man, about playing ball like professionally. At this point, my boy was already professional, and I was watching his trajectory coming out of college, going to play in Europe right away. Like, but going through his struggles and his trials and tribulations, but getting that right from college, go play professional. That's what my young mind was locked in on. My shit got to be like that, right?
So he
But
was like a guide.
I learned, yeah, for sure. It was like, yes, I don't have to do it the way this person does it, and I can still get to where I want to go because we both winded up chilling with each other in Spain, like talking professional basketball things. I'm still looking to get my career started. He's had his career started, and it's right here. You right here. You know what I'm saying? You right here with me. Even though we started off like this and you went your way, I went my way, we still winded up.
Together.
So it was okay for me. It was like, that's what the illustration was like, yo, it don't have to be the same thing. So I didn't have to go the same way everybody went. Just like in business and what I do in basketball, I don't gotta go everywhere somebody is going. So I can be the basketball nerd and the junkie and all of those things and be able to teach, a value system that is and can be, transformed or transferred into your aspect of your daily life. So basketball is a microcosm of life. So in those experiences of going abroad and having these different conversations with teammates who thought that my perspective is this, and your perspective is that, and even those
Right.
differences amongst how the game is played, because from a European person's perspective and an American person's perspective, it's
Two
two different
different.
things,
Yeah,
right?
man. Oh
However,
wow.
when you
Yeah.
in the game, it's just really how you play chess.
It's so
So
wild too
you know what
because
I mean?
like, dude,
Trading
yeah,
that information.
train the what's that?
I said, just, trading that information. And because I was the type of person where it was just like, I'm sure who I am. I know where I come from. I know what I believe in. I ain't trying, I spread love. I don't come with peace. I mean, I come with peace. You know what I'm saying? I accept people for who they are. I ask for the same thing. Just treat me how you want to be treated. We good. Even if
Right,
you don't like me. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
that just allows for me to just have been accepting of what other people are, which winds it just always lended me around good people with all these different types of perspective and conversation. So it just
Yeah,
shaped.
it's wild because like as you're talking, I think as you were talking, it started to bring up for me what makes a good teacher. And I think one of the things that makes a good teacher is acceptance.
For sure.
Because what I'm hearing you say is like, look, you having these different experiences and perspectives that you've accumulated over your experience so far is like you're able to have these conversations with different people, and then now as you're a teacher, this gives you more of a relatability because I know that when we've talked, you have clients from different parts of the world. So
Yeah.
and hearing that there's a different perspective and hearing these different perspectives from other players overseas, that in itself also gives relatability to more to a broader range.
Sure.
So like so talking that's talking from the basketball perspective, and now hearing especially when you talk about the values that you've learned from basketball, I want to take a quick pivot to when you started the apparel.
Okay. Cool.
And like what was I've always wanted to know personally, especially like because I personally I hear the passion. People listen to it like I hear the passion and people seeing this. I can see it. I can feel it. But what started the apparel line, man? Take me through that.
Um, for me, honestly, it was something that I was always into. Like, again, like as a kid, I was always into clothes and like messing with clothes and like wearing different stuff and like being different, and to a certain degree. I'm not saying that I was, a trendsetter. I'm just saying that I just didn't always like looking like everyone else.
Gotcha.
So um when I got into this space, it was just like, I want to bring something to the marketplace that reflects me, that I could wear of my own if I want to wear it.
Mm,
And what is it actually saying? Because it is a statement. You know what I mean? And we seen how powerful the "Make America Great Again," just that red iconic hat, right, being mixed with those letters, and what that statement said. And that statement really created dissension across the whole country. You know what I
mm,
mean? And you gave that something that much power. Like you give a swoosh that much power. You give, a polo horse that much power. You know what I mean? So when I think about these things, I think about if somebody consuming something, consume something that means something. Right? I
right.
want to produce something that means something, that speaks for me, that speaks for millions of other people who are like-minded like me, in that approach, and be conscious about what you're trying to put, you trying to project to people,
Mm,
and knowing that for me in the space of basketball, I can do that. I don't have to be a basketball trainer wearing Nike, hoping that, you know, somebody takes up one of my ideas. I just go
mm,
do it on my own.
right.
I'll go make it
Yeah.
happen. You know
Yep.
what I mean? I don't have to do what you're doing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't have
Right.
to be, and I desire to be in a space where I've shown people how to do something. I'm in the middle of developing a formula. I haven't perfected it yet, but this formula is going to allow for me to have an impact in the culture and the demographic of basketball on so many different levels. And it's
Yeah.
the values that it comes from, essentially. You know, hard work, dedication, patience, sacrifice. It's
My
simply
favorite shirt. Yo, just
simply
my
that.
favorite shirt. Yep.
It really is simply that. You know, it is that. And if you're looking into those things, if you really look into those words hard, and you want to be a religious person, you can attach a lot of those, you know, religious sentiment with those 4 different words. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So and that means that you're committed to a process.
Listen, I must say, man, that's what drew me to that shirt. That's one of my favorite shirts. Every time I'm wearing it when I work out. And to this shirt with hard work, patience, dedication, and sacrifice. Yes.
Yes.
And I'd wear that shirt when I was rehabbing from surgery.
Yes, I
I'd
saw
wear
that.
that shirt to PT. Yo, and you know, I'd always get comments on that shirt, and I was like, yo, man, it's my man's line, man. His vibe is exactly what this whole journey's about. And I love supporting you with this because it
Thank you.
is a mood, man. Like whenever I wear it, even when I'm working out, that's one of my workout shirts. Like, you know,
Right.
I can rock it fresh with a blazer because it looks good on a brother's body. But I'm just saying, I like the cut too. Bless up
Right.
on that. And I like wearing it because like when I'm struggling in a set or when I'm like frustrated with my body, it's like when I look in the mirror, I look down on myself. I'm looking at these words and it's like it lifts me up, man. So I see that as a truly positive thing, and especially as a Black entrepreneur,
Thank
I
you.
see that as like, yo, man, this is powerful because this is something you said. This is shifting a culture, man. And I think that's where the passion comes in because there's got to be a level of passion to want to create a shift in things, right? So my question is, I'm curious, is what's been your passion to create a shift in culture? What's driving that passion?
I think being and operating in a space where I see people who other people think are cool, but they're not really cool. I don't know
Okay.
really how I could really else kind of say it. You know, I'm sure that there's a lot of like artists who know what I'm trying to say. Like, it's like there's people who are in it and they are successful at certain things, but they not
Right.
craftsmen at what they doing. So like you kind of looking at them like, dang, you know, you got all the pub and stuff like that, but like,
She ain't shit.
yeah, you know
Yeah,
what I
you
mean?
ain't
Like
shit,
it
man.
ain't really. And
Yeah, yeah.
kudos
It's
to how
coming
you got
half-assed.
that. It's capitalism, so maybe you got better marketing, whatever it may be. Maybe it could be something I'm doing wrong, but like, you know, it's just like, you know, somebody playing the piano. There's some old man walking by hearing somebody play piano. Everybody like, yeah, he's so great. Young, older dude, like, come on, man.
Nah. Yeah, he ain't that good. Yeah.
Yeah, he got a little.
Yeah.
I see why y'all saying that, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, okay,
It's
so it's time to not look at myself as a person who uh is a part of it, part of this space for a little bit of time. I want you to be able to turn your vision, so to speak, to like shift completely. Like, oh, I could get fed all this knowledge. I can have access to all of this through
right.
this source. That's what spreads the platforms like clothing. You know, like you say, that's a vibe. Podcast is a vibe of information, providing value to people who mess with me and are like minded like me, and knowing that like it's gonna take so long for people to actually really appreciate what's being done, but that's okay, because this is what's going to allow for me to do what I've always set out to do, and that's to make an impact on the game of basketball, because basketball has been a constant in my life, my entire life, for the, you know, I could say, and it's been so good to me, you know, and it's taught me so much that it's like just being able to take ideas that you've had for a long period of time and actually start to watch those things manifest themselves into fruition
Yeah.
and
It's
learn,
powerful, bro.
you know what I mean? You could
Yep.
stand on that. You could stand on those words and say like, I know what that is. you know?
Yeah. So there's something that's coming up, and I wanted to ask this before, and it slipped my mind. Man, for me, I'm curious, and also for the people, I'm curious to know. I'm sure that they don't know. I'm about to ask. What are the ways that you maintain your passion when there are rough patches in the journey?
That's a part of the game. I think I always think about, like, you know, I probably got more, but there's, you know, 4 in particular people I'll be always thinking about, you know, like in their journeys. So obviously, you know, I think, you know, I love Kobe. You know, I think about that. I've got opportunity to see that. I've got opportunity to see how he's dealt with those different trials, tribulations, you know, in the journey, so to speak. You know, I got Bob Marley. You know, you look at Bob Marley and where he's come from and what he was able to do in terms of making a cultural impact, you know, and a shift, you know, and where did that actually come from? From the passion of doing something different than anybody else was doing at the time.
Right.
Standing on that, like, yeah, this is what it is. Like, and I'm gonna shift all of y'all to look over here at what I'm doing. And I know that I'm decades ahead right now.
Right.
You know? But it's worth it. I know I probably won't even be able to see but I'm praying for this to change if I had this opportunity, you know? So I look at somebody like that. I look at Nipsey Hussle, because I listen to him all the time talk about how he just didn't quit. So it's like, you just can't quit, man. The L's are a part of the game. You're going to take them. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I was hoping that you would say. And also what I'm hearing in that is that you have role models, right?
Yeah.
You have models of people that have experienced the tribulations and won, right?
Yeah.
Taking the L's, right? And the L's, like some people can say, take the loss. I look at a loss as like, listen, while a loss may suck, it's really a lesson, because it's like, oh, okay, it's part of the listen. And this is the thing.
That's how you be getting game, though.
Right.
Like,
yes.
People don't understand that. Like, yo, like, I'm not saying that every experience you have to experience. Sometimes you could avoid certain experiences utilizing information that you obtain watching other people, talking to other people. Like, nah, don't go do that. But there are some experiences that are necessary that you got to take that L. Because sometimes you got to just be simply tested. If everything going so well, yeah, of course, everybody going to want to do that.
Right.
But when it's messed up, and you got to be the person to fix it. It ain't like, oh, I could, yo, this manager's getting on. No, you are the manager. You the manager, the owner, you the all that. And it's messed up right now.
You service department, you everything. Right.
You figure it out. Figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
That's what it is. Yo, I thought I was gonna be able to cover this month. I can't cover this month. Where I'm gonna squeeze? Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do, and that's the L. That's the part of the game, bro.
Yep.
You want to be the boss. Everybody know what it is. You pay the cost to be the boss. That's why this ain't for everybody. Because people want to act like, that's the whole thing. People want to act like they want to come over to this side. But yo, you don't want this side. This lava over here. And when y'all get over here, it gets too hot for you. And you like, oh, nah, you go running back. And it's like, yo, that's cool. But for all of y'all out there who say, yo, I'm tired of working this 9 to 5. This is what I want to do. I'm passionate about I ain't got no financial fiscal advice for you. All I got is what's going to be in here and what needs to be in here. Yo, you're going to have to deal with them L's, and you're going to have the same faith that you have in your Lord and Savior. You're going to need that same faith to make what you want to have happen. Now, if you believe in that as strong, you should believe in yourself just as strong. Now, go out there and figure it out. That's the only thing I can tell you.
Listen, that's what it is. I think, especially when we're talking about passion, I think that's the blessing of passion, because passion will be tested.
For
like
sure.
People, and that's why I look at, like, you and I, we had Lamar and I, we were celebrating our man, our dude Chris. Just has his book out, and we were talking. We had some listen. We always have gems in combo.
Yeah.
And remember, we were talking about words too, right? And I've been diving into words. And when I think about passion, when I was thinking about this podcast, I was like, man, what is passion really? Like people look like I can see passion is like, yo, man, I'm really all for this. Like I really feel for it. And then I was looking at it, I was like, yo, you know what, man? Passion's been the thing that's carried me through in the darkest times.
Of course.
Because it's like, yo, man, this, and I'm gonna tell people, man, listen, man, woman, whoever's lining with the masculine energy and watching this, yo, listen, L co-sign on this. Whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you want to do, if you really want to do that thing, you will be tested.
No question
The
about it.
passion, yo, because like, and it's gonna be, listen, it may bring you to your knees.
That's
And
that.
there's gonna be times you want to quit. Listen, I was there 3 times last week. Believe me when I tell you, right? And you don't have to believe me when I tell you. All I'm saying is like the one thing that carried me through is like, yo, I gotta listen. I'm just gonna give it this go. I gotta figure this out. I gotta figure this out, and that's the growth. Listen, and that's why I really appreciate this part of like life without passion sucks, because really, if we go through and we're in fear, or I'm gonna speak for myself, when I go through and I'm in fear of like really going for that thing, listen, my life does suck. Why? How's that, Paul? I'm glad you asked. Because now it's like, I mean, for me, by me not going after my purpose and passion, now it's like all of a sudden there's the depression can set in,
Wow.
boredom, which leads to alcoholism,
Yep.
foodism, like porn, sex, all these different things start to pop up. This is the thing where you look at like even the suicide rate of men is alarming. And especially in the time of this recording, we're going through this pandemic. There's this thing called COVID-19. People are wearing masks and stuff. It's like a whole bunch of stuff is going on. It's messing with people's psyche. And
Mental
it's
health.
also, for real, man, mental health is serious right now.
Sure.
And it's also an opportunity for people to follow their purpose and passion. Because if you really believe in something, yo, you can make this thing happen. You can make it happen. And listen, and so Lamar, I want to tap into something, because one of the things that was coming up for me that I want to tap into is something that also resonates with me, that I feel a strong pull with you on, is the artistry. And like I see the paintings that you have up. You know, you and I have talked about art. Like I know you love museums, and I consider, especially like when I'm hearing when we have our men mentoring men meetings and we all talk about our plans, what we're looking to do, how we support each other. I always think of when you have these new lines come out, man, I think of this as artistry. Like, hey, like that's why I love designers. My nephew loves fashion and designing too. And I love when there's that collection that's like, yo, this is, you ain't getting this nowhere else.
Right.
Yo, this is a limited time.
Right.
You know, and I appreciate, well, talk to me about, from your perspective, how you bring artistry into what you do.
Cool. Man, yo, art is so beautiful, man. It's like somebody actually had this idea for something, and they've used various different ways to express that to us. And I've seen that through fashion. I've seen that be expressed in, while people may say like, why would you look at Milan, whatever, Fashion Week or whatever? You know, the artistry behind it is to be captivating, right? It's not to say I'm going to wear this to a 9 to 5, right? Like
Right.
this is for the people that are going to these different events and to create these things from fabric, bro. Like these things come from fabric, from different textile, and these people design these things with certain underlying stories, and it can curate something throughout different pieces and how these pieces are utilized, certain colors, how these different colors work in symbiotic relationships, but also have other undertones that could speak to a piece of art, right? And the same way that we look at paintings and we like, oh, this is beautiful, Clothing is an expression of that. Just like someone playing a harp is the expression of that. It's not the harp itself, it's the individual and how they are going about striking the different chords that is the artistry, right? Like,
exactly.
and what I've thought about is being able to understand from the ground floor, if this is season 1, what does season 10 look like? And be able to extrapolate all those concepts. So by the time a decade, which is 10 seasons, is done, what have I given to the people who have decided to patronize my brand? Do they have a level of consciousness that is going through them as they purchase these things? So when I did Life Without Basketball Sucks, I thought about the fact that we are in a global pandemic. I'm a basketball trainer. I have a gym, you know, that in which I work with kids. And with kids, you build relationships, man. You know, and I do take that seriously, right? I don't just look at my position as a basketball trainer and working with kids, just focusing merely on them getting better as basketball players. There's also things that I recognize in my position. I can help with growth and maturation of young men and young women, and even assist parents where that is concerned, right? Because I don't, at the current moment, have kids of my own. So I look at these kids and I look at behaviors and different things that transpire, and I try to be able to be somewhat of a mentor in that regard as well, right? So to have to go for such a long time without seeing them, and to know that these kids, you know, reach out, and there's platforms that we may use on the Zoom or whatever in which I stay in contact to say, yo, get your dribbling in, do this, do this, do this, do this, right? There's also neighborhoods whose baskets were taken off their rims. Parks were shut down, right? And it's like, damn, man, could you imagine the NBA season gets suspended? College basketball gets suspended. It's like, that sucks. There is no basketball, bro. Like, there's even you want to know what was going to happen. You didn't know the bubble was going to come back. We're talking about this now. You know, I was thinking about these things at that time. And that's what, you know, the artistry behind it is, just being able to create something in a time in which, you know, does in fact break all the COVID protocols, but it does give us back our humanistic relationship, right? Because one of the things I saw when the restrictions was lifted, I did a camp. I saw so many kids outside again. I saw so many kids playing and not in their phones, or, you know, and, you know, I'm speaking for someone who deals with a lot of kids all the time. Like in the summertime, I'm doing various camps and stuff like that. So I see large groups of kids, and I've seen 30 kids sit at a lunch table and not speak to each other and just be on their phones, right? And I'm like, y'all at camp. This is like the 4th day of camp. Some of y'all have come the 2nd week. Like, this is the 2nd week. It's the same group, and y'all just is like not social at all. And I've seen the socially awkward ones, right? And it's just like, I understand why you're socially awkward, because everything is like, I'm not like that. I want to go play, and everybody's on their phone. And it's like, you look like the weird kid. And it's like, no, you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing at a camp when you're 11 years old. You know what I'm saying? So it was nice, refreshing to see that. So again, you know, I was thinking about just, you know, that period of time. So many players I talked to was like, damn, I don't know. I'm going into my senior year, or this is my senior year. Damn, like I don't have no basketball. Like, I don't even know if there's going to be a season, or am I going to, you know, and all of those things were what I was trying to illustrate, because basketball, when the bubble came back, was an immediate thing that people were like, great.
Right.
Despite
Something
Black Lives
to
Matter,
latch onto.
despite, you know, the different things, and rest in peace to George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and we will not forget you. You are not forgotten, right? And with that being said, like, even having basketball, you can see people, there's a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of a relief, a little bit of people channeling. I was out getting pizza, hearing people talk about what Dante, you know, Mitchell was going to do in the bubble against this, and it's like, that's okay. We're starting from, you feel what I'm saying? So it rang to me that really we don't understand this, because we're Americans and we just have, you know, access to so much. But when these things are taken away from us, it fucking sucks.
It does.
Right?
It does. I think that was a beautiful thing about this time. If people were willing to grasp and understand it, is that, listen, it was teaching us about how much we're aligned and how much we assign our attention to these things that are outside of ourselves, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to me, and that's why I love that we talked about the artistry and that we're talking about the connection, because I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a piece of, we're talking about the physical connection, being able to play basketball and like have that social engagement, and I think even connection, like relative to vibe and culture.
That's what I'm talking
And
about.
yeah,
You don't play basketball, but me and you could talk about KD and Kyrie.
right, exactly,
You see what I'm saying? And us
Yep.
not being able to have no conversation about that is like, that's what
One
makes
less
people
thing.
not even speak that much more.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's true. And one of the things I want to tap into too is that um you were talking about what did you say? You talked about, like, how, with Mars B-ball, you want to start to shift the culture. And then I saw you use that illustration of, like, okay, what am I doing now? And then what I want that collection in 10 years. So thinking about where you started, right? Where do you, if you're open to sharing, because, like, I know you're visionary. So where do you see the collection in 10 years, man?
In 10 years is having my own storefront.
Gotcha.
Where I'm able to expand the things that I want to impact on oh my bad, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
It will allow for me to be able to have penetrated different things that I can utilize to curate art, right? So there's different ways that I want to express my brand and the logo on abstract things that may not necessarily appeal to a regular person, but for a enthusiast and for nostalgic purposes, they would like to purchase these different types of things in other collections. So I'll just give you a brief idea of what I'm saying to you. So I have a concept of living room tables, right, that I want to be able to create within my brand. So I'm designing home furnishings.
That's what's up.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like the clothing end is not 10 years. It's what else have I designed that I've decided to make impact on. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like,
yes,
it's like,
yes,
that's a brand. You know what I mean? That's not somebody who's just trying to shovel t-shirts. Listen, I'm not trying to just be somebody to I'm not gonna have the Gucci of t-shirts. I don't aspire to do that, right? I aspire to sell a good product for sure, right? I inspire to be able to take you on a journey through clothing, but there's accessories, there's other things that can distinguish the ideology behind a brand that I can learn and design, right? And I'm looking to be able to be at that point, when it comes to 10 years from now, where clothing is the least of what I'm doing.
Right. So you have, like, it's like it's a vibe, it's a mood, man, because, like, shoot, people can go and get a Mars recliner, a Mars tabletop. You know what I mean? Like, in The Martian, man. That's fresh. That is fresh. See, that's what listen, so I'll pause it for a second. This is one of the things, like, I was really looking forward to in this conversation. And I'm so happy we're talking this, because for two reasons. First of all, it's really focusing on expanding a brand, right? And a brand, and you even said it, it's more than I want to offer you t-shirts. A brand is a culture, a brand is an environment, a brand is something that can draw people in. Like you talked about, I think you spoke about it brilliantly. Like, we have brand recognition. Amazon with the freaking crooked penis, and then, like, Swoosh with, like, the the thing. And like all these things, when I see it, it's like, oh, that's Amazon, that's Nike, that's Timberland, or that's whatever.
Yeah.
And the thing is like those brands create a culture in itself. Like, you see Nike do these iconic posters and things. And I love what you're saying is that, you created the clothing and you have messages, and even with the message behind life without basketball sucks, what brought you to that in itself is even starting to bring a culture together, because that's something to talk about, right?
Right.
So I love that piece about creating culture in a brand, and it could be free of being one specific product. It can be whatever it gets to be as it
Right.
evolves, that's in alignment with the brand, which is
Listen.
like, for those listeners, it's powerful.
Listen, Samsung makes refrigerators. What do we know Samsung? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yo, like,
right.
why do we have to be this like this? I get it.
Right.
I get businesses focus on a niche. I understand that. I understand hitting your target market and all of those different things like that. But sometimes you can go into spaces, and just because of how you design and what your brand consciousness is, it's like, oh shit, Samsung makes refrigerators. I got a Samsung phone. I love my Samsung phone. Great.
Right.
I'm
We
gonna
have a
buy
match.
Samsung now. But if
Right.
Samsung doesn't make refrigerators, they don't get that opportunity. So it's just like, I'm not
Exactly.
gonna stop myself, man. I have one life,
Right.
right? I want my brand to build its legacy. I want to be able to create a footprint in the game of basketball and somewhat become a blueprint to other people like myself that are looking to just be free of doing everything that people think you're gonna do. Like, you're gonna do that. It's like, you're gonna do that, and I see the end game and what you're gonna do. It's like, go ahead, man, keep guessing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude, it's interesting, man. It's really yo. So I love, yes, man. I'm digging that. And the second piece I wanted to touch on was the visioning, right? And I think that's important. I want to highlight that for men that are listening to this, because I think that along with passion comes vision,
Mm.
because from my experience, I see when I lack passion in something, my vision's faded, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My vision is like, psh.
I don't
And
even
then
know. I
vice,
can't see it. I can't see it.
yeah, right? Like, yo, dude,
I
I
can't see it.
gotta have passion about something, man. And it could be, listen, I don't know what it is for you, man, listening to this or watching this. I don't know. Lamar, I don't know. You know, though. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So, Lamar, man, let's I always like with these podcasts, like, while it's an opportunity to get to learn about you and what you're doing, I always like for my guests to drop some additional gems in regards to based on your experience, man, what would you say are one or two lessons that can support the ones listening to this in connecting their passion with vision, man?
Mm. Know your why. Stay true to yourself and do what's right for you.
Know your why and stay true to self.
But I mean, I say that hopefully you know yourself.
Yeah.
So
You know what? Right in
that's
my
why
head.
it's like, knowledge of self is hard, man.
Well, tell me, man. I'm curious because we had this. This is another part of the conversation we had when we were at Chris's the other night. Talk to me about that. When you say not what you just said, like, what do you mean by that? Expand on that a little bit more for me, man.
True knowledge of self is to understand what you're capable of, good and bad, and the depths that your bad is. right?
Mm.
Because we act like we don't go equally as far. Like, yeah, I'm really good. I'm only a little bad. Like, it's like, nah, bruh. Like, that depends on who's the bad is happening to,
Right,
right?
right. Yo,
So,
so true, King. So true, King.
just knowing that that's not something you want to allow yourself to be, right? And knowing that your superpower, like what you're capable of, that negative thing to a certain degree could be the thing that you're revered for, but that also could be that double-edged sword that like kills you at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, yo, I'm a young looking dude. I'm out here. I'm getting this money. I'm doing my thing. I love my business, blah, blah. Okay, so women come in. There's a lot of, what kind of man are you then when those different things happen, right? If you've always been promiscuous, or that's, you're gonna be that tenfold now. Now, does that impact you? And in what way does that impact you? Maybe it doesn't impact you at all. Maybe you wake up like, yo, why am I doing this?
Mm.
Why,
Mm.
why am I 35, 36 years old out at the college night trying to pick up these? Why am I still doing this? Like, it's okay, cool, you could do it,
Right.
but
Know your
you got
why.
to know why you're doing that. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like, and you got to know yourself. You got to know that, like, yo, I don't need to be in this situation where me and my girl is going through what we going through. I need to be out here with all these college girls. Like, come on, bro. Like, nah, that, I know myself. I'm gonna pick this girl up.
Right.
If she's down, now I done doubled my problem. When I just need to reflect on self, fall back, grab you a whiskey, grab
Yup.
you a bourbon. Hey, listen, if it's about shorties, go watch some porn and beat off. If you still
Yo.
feel the same after that, then have at it.
Yup, bro.
But knowing yourself, right? Knowing yourself enough to be like, nah, that's not where I'm trying to be. That's not where I'm trying to go. I know I can. I don't care what she may say. She may say I'm the ugliest dude. She don't know why she with me. And my girlfriend say I'm stupid and all of that. But you have to know, bro, I could go out here and go grab me something if I want to.
Yup.
And get,
Yup.
you know what I mean? And do what I do. But that's not who I'm trying to be. I'm trying to evolve. And
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And with
Yeah,
that,
man.
knowing that, man. So I don't act the same way. I forget what that quote is exactly. That was said about a man thinking the same at 33 as he thought at 22 is a life or time lost or something like that.
Oh.
I'm sure your listeners out there, listen, man, do your Googles. I know I'm not perfect with my statement, but it's something to the effect, because people do that,
Yeah, yeah.
something to the effect of, a man who was thinking the same at 33 that he was thinking at 22 is a man lost or stuck in time or something like that. But my point is that as we make another trip around this sun and them experiences, we should take with that another opportunity to see how we've dealt with things that have happened and transpired as men, and what it is that we hope to ascend to, and look at that closely. Like, what was happening in June and July, and what was my behavior like? If those patterns had changed, then what's the stimulus that changed the pattern? You feel what I'm saying? And that
Yup.
knowledge itself is the key right there. Boom, cool. I'm not letting that occur again. That took me back 2 months out of what I was trying to do, what I was trying to become. You know what I mean? And I think that that's a lot of it, that men need to do a better job of, is also being okay with who they are.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Because
That's huge, man, because and it's wild as you were talking. I think it's such a beautiful thing that in the majority of my podcasts, the guests always come back to this some form of knowledge of self and evolution and being able to move into a different form of self in a higher refined point of self. And it's interesting because I think that the more a man could get to know himself, the more he could tap into his passion and his purpose and also the vision, because listen, for men listening to this, the world is packed with distractions. It's packed with distractions. It from the stuff you see on the phones, what the phones hear and pull up in your email, to what you see on TV, to what you see at work, to what you see on like wherever.
Look,
There are
Instagram.
distractions. Instagram, like there are distractions. So the key thing to note is rather, and my man Joe always says, like, be a creator over a consumer, right? And because being a consumer, when you fail to know yourself, is a dangerous place, because then there's a thought that, well, I'm supposed to do something like this person over here, or like, you know what? I haven't thought to do it, but I don't think I should do it because I see everybody doing this. It's so interesting, right, Lamar? Because like when I think about this, I think of like, the Wright brothers. If they hadn't thought of like, you know what, man, all these cats in horse and buggies and stuff, or cars, I want to go through the air. Everybody could have just accepted a vehicle. We could have. But you know what? There's always something that's going to get us to think outside. And the thing I want to encourage men to think of is like, that thing that could shift the culture could be a creation that's in your mind.
It is. It's not could be. No, it is. It is. That's why the alchemist is so important. It's your personal journey. It's your personal legend. You got to understand something. God all right, do you want to do that? All right, cool. Then this is how you're going to live. I told you could have did this. Remember when you wanted to be in gymnastics and all of that stuff? And then you stopped doing that because you wanted to go do this, and you keep changing anywhere. And now I told you're supposed to go this way. You're supposed to endure what you had to endure, and what's for you will be for you.
Yep.
And you find yourself turning into the very thing that you want to become. It just don't happen the way everybody. That's why when the person, whoever that was, said, say it again. He said, "Be a creator, not."
Oh, Joe, he's like, be a creator rather than a consumer.
Right. So here's the thing, though, with people who claim creator, though, like they're creating something that they've seen done in the space that they think they can do better than. They're not creating anything.
Right. They're building on. They're doing a remix.
They're duplicating it. They're just saturating it, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna do what he doing, because what makes him any different? Not knowing that person has done the studying, has learned the know-how, got these different techniques, has started 3 or 4 years before you. You know what I'm saying? Has certain relationships because he's known for doing this thing. But you just thought he just blew up. All right, so
he just did this out of nowhere.
He's talking on the radio. I could talk on the radio. Or he's got a podcast. I could start a podcast. He got a t-shirt. I could do that. But then when it comes down to people not listening, you're not getting subscribers, you're not selling anything. People is even commenting that your stuff is whack. You know what I mean? No. Now what you gonna do? Creators say, it's okay. I expected this. It's gonna take y'all a little bit. I'm gonna keep working.
Bro, it's all right. Say it again. Yo, listen, brother. You've been dropping gems this whole session, and that right there is freaking. I'm adding that to the list, because, dude, that right there, man. Yo, man, bless up to you for saying that, man. Bless up to you for saying that, man. Because, like, people, man, yeah. Yo, that just hit on the head, man. I was just like, man, yes. So, listen, I'm bringing this up, man, and I want to start to wrap this, because this is, man, my mind is going racing right now, and I want to like take it to. I'm like, oh, junk. Okay, I want to keep it to around an hour. And Lamar, I want to have you back on, man, because what was on my mind, it was thinking of like, having something with all the men mentoring men for a special men talk about session, to like really vibe and like, because like I feel like, listen, that's a thought that will bring the manifest to really bring it back to you, man. It's exciting to watch you evolve.
Oh, thank you.
It's
Thank you.
exciting, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's dude, you know, man, like I consider like we're growing together, bro. And
Good question.
it's like when I see you level up, man, I'm like, yeah. That like when you posted this video, Lamar's got this video out. Yo, and Lamar, tell the people your handles real quick, man. Tell your handles, man, how people can reach you.
My Instagram, my Instagram is at m.a.r.s_basketball. You can hit me on the Gmail, marsbasketball247 @gmail. It's also Mars Basketball and Hoop Culture at on Facebook. So
Boom. So bless up. Thank you for that. So Lamar's got this video where he's training. Lamar, and who's the woman that you're working with in the video?
Kennedy Johnson.
Yes. Oh my damn, bro. When you put that video out, I was like, yo, this is on a whole level. So now, first of all, to give everybody some context, Lamar is one of the first cats I saw out there in social media land really giving detailed instructions on what he's doing with his clients. Like I thought when you had that series out where you were really breaking down the different steps in basketball, how to get like, you know, and how precise and how descriptive you were in the instruction, I was like, yo, this is tip top. I don't even play basketball. And I'm like, yo, I feel like I just learned something because it's the way you approach this. So people that watch it, people that like basketball, people want to work on your game, yo, check my man's page out because like the way he breaks things down and what he's doing with Kennedy, and then also Hoop Chat too, the podcast. You've been doing some IG lives, yo, freshness. And also, listen, by the time this drops, yo, you have time to get some t-shirts, sweatshirts, socks at marsbball.com. Yo, check it out. Yo, get the values t-shirt too. That's my jam, yo. But yo, that shirt right there. And yo, when I was on the site yesterday, I saw that you got a sweatshirt. So I got to rock that sweatshirt. It'll help me out with all these winter snows we're gonna have and stuff. Bro. So I want to give you two, man. I want to give you, before we wrap up, I want to give you a minute to either re-express something that you said before or leave the people with a gem or something that you want them to know you think is important for them to hear from you specifically,
Man, I started to say it, and for me, um, in this year, like you were saying earlier about this year being a year that has been a crazy year. You know, this COVID stuff out here is crazy. I've lost family members. I'm sure I'm like the hundreds of thousands of other people, millions, in fact, that have lost people because of this thing. I just think it just accelerated the thought of like, yo, you got one life, man. And when it's over, it really is over. And sometimes we think too far ahead and we think as if we got it, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna start my company in 3 years, or I'm just gonna wait until this happens and then I'm gonna do this. Or man, you got one life, try to do what you love to do. You're gonna make money, you'll figure it out, man. Like you really will. Like, and maybe you won't, but at least you'll figure that out, you know? And that's enough sometimes because not everybody has to be a business owner and not everybody has to be that to have a great life. Maybe maybe you love your job. I'm not anti, corporation and job. It's just not for me, you know? So, um, you know, perfect your craft. If you're gonna step out here and do something, really perfect your craft. Learn the ins and outs of what you're doing. Spend some real time on what you're doing. Learn it. You want to have a podcast? Cool. Watch other podcasts. Watch successful people. Watch what they're doing. Doesn't mean you have to do the same content, but maybe something about their structure. Maybe something about how they do things, what it is. Is it an interview show? Is it just a bunch of people chilling and talking? What is it subject matter? So it's like, it's important, man, because when you perfect your craft, you start getting the bag.
Right.
You know, and
Yep.
you're not gonna get the bag until you perfect your craft. Whatever it is you're doing, you gotta put your time in.
Put the time in. Put the
So,
time in,
man.
brother. Man, listen, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed and grateful. And like,
Yeah.
listen, at the day we're recording this, like, we got a gift, man. Cause like, yo, in an hour and a half, we're gonna see each other again. Cause we got
You
our
know,
men meeting tonight. Who you with? Yeah. Yo,
you know,
Lamar, man, brother, I
thank you.
appreciate you, King.
Thank you,
Appreciate
King.
you, King.
I appreciate this as much, very, very much, very much.
My man, my man. Yeah. So listen, everybody, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your support. I see the numbers. I see you listening. Thank you for tuning in to Men Talk About. This message, if the gems that you heard in this are relevant, share, make a comment. Yo, I'll reach back out. Yo, check Mars B-Ball, man. Life Without Basketball Sucks, coming out now. Listen, check it and check the basketball development skills videos with my man. Listen, big things are going. Big things are going. So, yo, man, bless up to you. Bless up to everybody out there. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, we are out of here. Peace.